Workers' Union, that's the PSA and Nehawu, will be continuing their strike at the South African Revenue Service today. The unions and SARS management were unable to come to an agreement around the latest round of negotiations. The strike threatens to affect the tax collection season, which began recently. The PSA and Nehawu began their strike back in May, demanding an increase of around 12%. For more on what we're likely to see today, let's bring in the House spokesperson, Lwazi Nkolonzi, who joins us via our telephone line this morning. It's great to have you on the program. What I remember is seeing reports back in May about SARS actually managing to halt the strike from going ahead. What's changed since then?
Good morning to you, Ayanda, and your viewers. What has happened, Ayanda, since our strike? We embarked, if you recall, in May on a full-blown strike. In the midst of that strike, the employer, SARS, came back to us and said, let's start engagements. So we engaged with SARS, hoping that something good would come out, and we were quite confident, of course, that now that they came back, they would give us something concrete, but only to be disappointed and to be back to square one, with SARS still adamant that they are going to offer us a salary increment of 1.39%. And of our members rejected that, and we then consulted widely with our members through convening shop steward councils, membership meetings, and our members still rejected that offer, and then they resolved that we should embark and recommence with a full-blown national strike.
Which is where we are now. My understanding is that...
That's where we are.
Yeah. When the CCMA was involved, part of the suggestions that were made, and you'll set me straight if this is not accurate, is that there be some kind of team that's established, some kind of task team to look into what unions are asking for and what SARS can afford. My understanding is that unions have rejected that. Why?
Look, there's been numerous engagements and numerous teams that have been set up. So when we referred the dispute to the CCMA, we could not find each other because we knew what SARS was doing. They were just playing, going around circles, not willing to come to the table to offer something concrete. In fact, SARS was so arrogant. When we went to the CCMA, they bluntly told us that they are offering us 0% increment. So, and the CCMA then found that the situation has reached the deadlock, and then they ultimately issued us a certificate for a strike. So the CCMA tried, but SARS was not willing to budge on their side. They were still arrogant, offering workers a 0% increment, and we got that certificate, and we are going to proceed, and we are recommencing with the strike precisely because SARS has not been willing to come to the table. And as Nehawu, we have had an open door policy to engage with SARS and bring something concrete that workers and our members would be satisfied with. But SARS, on their side, has not been willing to show that.
Perhaps it's worth ventilating exactly what you're asking for. It's a salary adjustment of CPI plus 7%. Also, interestingly enough, the introduction of pandemic leave, about 10 working days per annum. SARS, according to some reports, has responded to some of this, saying they simply can't afford to give you everything. What's your response to that, if you presume that's not good enough?
Look, so part of the demands that we have made, of course, are part of that, what you have just mentioned. But of course, you would understand in negotiations, it's a give-and-take situation. You would get some, but you would then have to compromise on others. And SARS has made it quite clear to us they are not willing to budge on any ones that we have placed on the table. I mean, we were saying, for example, that can SARS give a token of appreciation to our members through a form of 2,000 rands for the sterling work that they've done over the last financial year. And SARS recorded a revenue collection of 1.5 trillion. And SARS was not willing to budge on that. So there's the issue of medical aids that we are saying that must be equal to all employees. Still, SARS is not willing to budge on that. So it's not just only specifically about salary agreement, salary negotiation, salary agreement. It's broadly all the demands that we have placed before SARS, and SARS is not willing to budge on those.
So where we currently stand now is the calls for a national strike. What does that actually look like? Are all your members not reporting for work, or are you willing to make concessions of those perhaps who work with essential services to carry on with the crucial work that needs to be done at SARS?
Look, today the strike has begun. As I'm speaking to you, our members are out in the picket lines across the various workplaces of SARS, and there will be no services rendered by our members. They will embark on this indefinitely up until SARS comes back to us and starts engaging and offers something tangible and better and concrete that our members can be satisfied with. But at the current moment, SARS is not showing any signs that they're willing to come back to the table and negotiate with us. And so our members are resolute this time around that they are going to they're not going to render any services. And what this means is that all SARS workplaces will not be operational as of today, with our members embarking on a strike.
Lwazi Nkolonzi speaks for Nehawu. Lwazi, thanks very much indeed for your time. Really do appreciate it. So there you have it. The workers at the South African Revenue Service beginning their strike from today. If things go their way, at least for today, none of the SARS operations will actually be working. So look out for that. Hopefully you're not too badly affected.